Amajit, thank you very much for that kind introduction and for all the work you've done personally to really motivate everyone to get not only to get involved in Ayurveda and also yoga, but actually promoting the subject and really keeping us all going, because it's very easy to launch International Yoga Day. I think, well, that's wonderful. We've done that now, and it's equally to talk about Indian traditional medicines and music. We should not ignore the music either, which I think is extremely helpful in calming people down when they're going through quite difficult times, and actually will encourage them to be better as a result of listening to that wonderful music. So I would like to thank you for what you've done to promote everything and for organising today and really making it happen, and a tremendous amount of work that goes on. We are celebrating the 7th International Yoga Day today. And I remember the first one which happened to coincide with a Sunday, and going to the Indian High Commission at 8 o'clock or being there for 8 o'clock in the morning to launch the program, and for my colleagues, my parliamentary colleagues, and others that know me, that anyone that could get me on a Sunday morning to get to the Indian High Commission for 8 a.m. is doing remarkably well. But it was an intense spiritual experience, and then of course on each year, other than of course last year, we've been able to have open air displays of yoga alongside Parliament. In some ways, I suspect it's probably a good thing that we couldn't do that this year, given the weather that we're all currently experiencing, which is very unfortunate. When ideally we'd bring everyone together in the open air and be able to celebrate appropriately. But it is important to recognise that the progress that we've made. Yoga is now part of the National Health Service programme. Sir Simon Stevens, the Chief Executive of the NHS, has recognised the beneficial aspects of yoga to, as you say, Amajit, wellness. Far too often our National Health Service concentrates its time on fixing people when they've been ill or they've suffered from terrible injuries, and they do a brilliant job, absolutely brilliant job, no question whatsoever. But most of the time, the health service doesn't concentrate on how we can be better in ourselves through our diet, through our program of exercise, through meditation. What we do know now, of course, is that because of the dreadful COVID pandemic, people have been locked down for, well, it seems like almost 15 months that people have been locked down, although we've had intervals within that. And people's mental health has suffered very adversely because of the various different lockdowns. The isolation, not being able to meet relatives and friends, not being able to intermingle and be the social animals that we are. So actually meditation and other forms of appropriate traditional ways are a great way of just preserving one's national mental health. Equally, just doing yoga stretches and such like. And in fact, I think I've shared this story before, that when I had some problems with back muscles and my back, and I went to my doctor, he prescribed some yoga stretches, and I still do those now every morning. And funny enough, I don't suffer the back pain that I used to suffer. So it demonstrates that actually it doesn't have to be a long session. This is the other thing. Some actual short periods of time practicing and doing some stretching actually is very beneficial for you. So I think we've got to concentrate on that. Equally, I've had the opportunity of visiting Kerala and seen the operation of Ayurveda alongside so-called modern medicine. And there, hospitals have been created, wards have been created alongside each other, so that those that wish to use traditional methods can do so. Those practitioners that use traditional methods can do so. And the one thing that shocked me about my visit to Kerala than anything else is that it is the #1 tourist destination for people visiting India. We all think of people visiting India and going to Delhi and Mumbai and Jaipur and so on across the piece. But actually, Kerala is the biggest single area where people go. Even if I may say, Damajit, it's even greater than going to see the Golden Temple. So, from that perspective, it is the key area that people will go, even bigger than the Taj Mahal in terms of visitor relations. So I think there's clearly an opportunity here. Amajit, as you've said, we are reaching a position between the UK and India of not only extending our friendship, but also looking towards a free trade agreement. Now, that's been in discussion for a very long time indeed, but substantial progress has been made over the last few months. And it should not just be about trade. It should not just be about cooperation. It'll be about security, it'll be about defense. It will be about health. And it's vitally important that people have the opportunity in the United Kingdom and in India to practice Ayurveda if that's what they choose to do. And I hope that by the lobbying and the work that we are doing, we'll be able to convince our National Health Service of the benefits of these traditional approaches. As I often say at times, the big pharmacy companies synthesize materials that have been traditional medicines. After all, they synthesize what were traditional herbs and other remedies. And I think what we need to understand is that the traditional remedies, which have been around for thousands of years, are very beneficial to people in curing sickness and other problems. So I think, in summary, then we've got an opportunity, I think, to convince our National Health Service, convince our partners that it is the case. We've got the opportunity to embed these things in our society in a very positive way. Unfortunately, very often, the traditional medicines and yoga have been treated by British people generally as a bit of a joke, a bit of a far out sort of, not really in the mainstream. I think far more people now are recognizing the benefits, and that's what we've got to get to, the acceptance of this being the right sort of way of life, the acceptance that this is an opportunity for improvement, and above all else, an acceptance that actually we should be concentrating more of our efforts on ensuring that people live a longer and healthier life, rather than just concentrating on helping them when they're sick. And so I think that's part and parcel of what we should aim to do and what we'll be aiming to do in the future. Now, my apologies, Amajit, but I'm going to have to leave because I'm due in another meeting in 5 minutes' time. And I just need to obviously get my act together for that meeting. But I wish you well, and thank you for, once again, for organising such a brilliant event for all of us.